The Five Skandhas quest is one of the odder things you do in Black Myth Wukong. First, in chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, you have to go to some out-of-way locations or defeat a specific enemy. And then, in chapter 6, you fight a literal mountain, all of which is a bit of a side quest. And all you get for it, a pill that increases all of your stats. Actually, wait a minute. A permanent increase to health, mana, and stamina sounds pretty good, so maybe this quest's worth doing after all. And so today, I'm going to go over the locations of the first 4 Skandhas, how to find Giant Shigandang, and some strategies to beat him to get the 5th, so that you can return to Zhudog and craft yourself the 5 Skandha Pill as well. While completing this quest does require that you get to chapter 6, as far as I know there isn't a lockout condition, so if you're in chapter 6 and you missed one of your earlier ones, you should be fine to go back and do it. The Skandha of Form is found in the Forest of Wolves. Start from the Front Hill Shrine, which if I remember correctly is the first shrine you encounter in the game. Immediately turn left. From here, go across the bridge, hug the left side until you can turn left again. You should see the Skandha, or more accurately the statue that gives it, down by the riverside, and there may be a friend waiting for you if you're fast enough. Next up, to get the Skandha of Feeling, you have to get to chapter 2 and enter the Fright Cliffs area. This one's actually not something you find on the ground. Instead, it's a reward for beating the boss Shigandang. Now, since I've already covered that in a previous video, I'm not going to rehash it here. But in short, you gather 6 Buddha eyes, you take the eyes back to the boss, he activates, there's a fun fight. If you haven't defeated the Stone Vanguard, he will even fight and defeat the Stone Vanguard for you. And then after you beat him, you get the Skandha. For more of that, check out my video up in the card and down below. Then for number 3, the Skandha of Thought, travel to the Mindfulness Cliff Shrine in the Village of Ecstasy in chapter 3. First up, head straight across the little wooden bridge and look to your right for a white tree. At the tree, jump down, you'll find a hidden platform below. You jump off the midpoint of the platform, cross the pillar, then proceed through the large cave system to find the Skandha of Thought at the end. Fun fact, there's also a fiery gourd which is accessible along the way. And again, here's what that looks like. Now for the 4th Skandha, travel to the Purifying Spring Shrine in the Web Hollow. You do need to complete a significant portion of a chapter to access this. You go pretty much straight ahead through the split in the rock, Head up the stairs and follow the platform along the right side of the area. Then, when you reach the end of a lake, jump down, you'll find the Skandha right in front of you. Now, with all of the Skandhas gathered, it's time to defeat Giant Shigandang. He's located in Chapter 6. Start from the mantis-catching swamp shrine in the foothills. Jump on your cloud and fly pretty much straight ahead. There's a kind of rocky area in front of you that's very different from the jungle. Head to the right, aiming towards the gap in the rocks. Then simply follow the long linear path all the way down until you encounter a large open area with the boss. So now that you've spawned the boss, how do you beat the boss? How do you fight a mountain? Can you even fight a mountain? Well, yes and no. This guy is so massive that you can't even really lock onto a part that you can attack. But as he attacks you, sometimes his arms and hands do end up resting on the ground, right within your reach. However, I would not actually advise getting close enough for him to properly attack you. His attacks hit hard, and I mean so hard that there's a very high chance you're just straight going to be one-shot. At least if you're hit directly. The thing is, you can also just sit out of range of most of his attacks and wait for him to tire himself out swinging at nothing before you run in to bonk his weak point. Now, unfortunately, during this time, you can't quite take a nap because the boss does generate shockwaves from his attacks, but provided you're avoiding the shockwaves, as long as you stand back, you shouldn't take any direct hits from the boss. Then, when you see one of his arms resting on the ground, that's your cue to attack. Target the blue crystals. Each one you destroy does a massive damage to the boss. You can't just beat up on his hand without targeting the crystals, but that's going to take a lot longer, as the rest of the boss has a massive damage reduction. So after you destroy enough of the crystals, his health reaches 0, and in one final act of revenge, he unleashes a flurry of shockwaves. I very much was not expecting this, and so it almost killed me. Use a transformation to tank these, or time your dodges to avoid death. Then it's time to ascend the new pathway of the boss, claim the 5th Skandha, then return to Shoe Dog. You'll find him either in the basement of Crouching Tiger Temple or in Zodiac Village. After you do, offer him the 5 Skandhas, he'll make you the 5 Skandhas pill, and congratulations, you got a stat increase. Though unfortunately this is kind of a one-time deal. If you do the quest again in future playthroughs, the pill is unfortunately converted to will. It doesn't offer you infinite stat boosts. But hey, at least you get to take the boost into New Game Plus. So with that, you've successfully located all 5 Skandhas, defeated Giant Shigandang, and got your buff. Congratulations, you've completed the quest. If you want to know how to complete any other quests in Black Myth Wukong, do be sure to let me know down below, or maybe check out some of the other videos on my channel, as I've already covered a significant number of them, including all the quests tied to the different secret areas. I'll link to some of those up in the card and down below. On the other hand, if you want a written guide on how to get to all the locations, I'll link to one that's over at MaxwellGG. That's going to be about it for me today. Thank you very much for watching to the end. If you enjoyed, do be sure to get subscribed, leave a like while you're down there, and of course, stay tuned for future videos. I have to say, this quest caught me a little bit off guard. On my first playthrough, I did encounter the first Skandha very early on, then I got the second one, then I missed the third and fourth, because they're a little bit more out of the way. But I did end up accidentally finding Giant Shigandang, and of course, he was just a mountain. So I had to do a little backtracking, searching around, and some good old checking of Reddit. After finding out there were 2 more Skandhas that I missed, well, it was pretty easy to wrap up the quest because the boss fight turned out to be super easy, at least as long as you stay out of range of his attacks, because man, they hurt. So that's it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.